Good evening, America. Today we've run some sort of test, maybe, with getting a lot of feedback from the secondary information systems, your television, animals, fucking animals, man. I had the wonderful encounter with two woodpeckers in the morning. I didn't put it in the video because you can't really see them, but they were present. They were present for myself, no doubt, and this is like a godsend. Woodpeckers are very strange, and they harken back to the time of Woody Woodpecker, the most annoying fucking cartoon I think I've ever saw in my life. I couldn't stand Woody Woodpecker. It has nothing to do with that, though. It's the timing and the way that there is a thread that runs through time that's non-linear. It's not linear. It's illogical. It's holographic, and it jumps from point to point, and there's different connectors that occur. You can walk out your door, and it could be 1972 type shit. It's a different form of moving through the same environment. It's quite fascinating. It's not really for the. This is definitely for the holonaut training for nonlinear travelers. But today has brought a fantastic mix of things from different points. A lot of people are talking today about manifesting. Manifest my reality. Why don't you just try to win the lottery and do different things? It's not even that you can't do that, but you have to put in your the way that you refer to your process from the time that you get up and go to bed. There are certain things in the process that you have to be able to slide shit over, take it right then. You cut your jugular vein. You're shooting blood out your fucking head. That jumps to the head of the line. Duh. Okay, well, that's the model for what I'm talking about. You get different ones of these models, and you get different sections of train that go with said caboose on the end. The fuck are you talking about? Got a prime example of this here. Well, I'm not gonna play the fucking thing, but I'll tell you, the state of Florida is one of these models. It's because of the certain forces that act on the earth hit the eastern seaboard first, though some of the weather things go the other way, from west to east. It's like that. There are certain energies, and it's not weather, but it's like unto weather. Whether or not which way it goes, they're called concourse of forces, and how they condense down from the higher density unto where we're at in third density. And you have to be able to notice certain things and note when things become activated. They'll exhibit some other quality that you may not physically see. Definitely other people's not going to notice it. You have to basically be able to intuit from the gut level, blind certain things. You got to stay pretty limber. You always have to maintain this training your whole life. And it's not even like it's something that you have to have a method. The method develops itself along the way. It really is a living and intelligent thing of itself. So that being said, some of the things that occurred today was, one, they began to reroute some of we need all this food and shit, and all these boats are off of California. This is one of the concerns for the American who, wherever you are in America, this would have been on the list of things to fix. This is what I'm talking about. they're starting to send the ships to Florida. Don't ask me how they get there, that's not the point. The same process would run into my mind a well. But the difference in this is that rather than just push that fucking fat ship through the Panama Canal, one recognizes the folly in this. Like, if you were to actually imagine that situation and the boat doesn't fit, you would be at fault. Now they've got to go all the way around fucking the south of South America. It's the dangerous waters on Earth. Look what you've done. What are you talking about? See, it is like this. It absolutely is. So now they're beginning to. They have 15 ports open. Florida isn't one of these fucking enemy-held states. They have a fantastic governor. Now, all the news that comes from Florida that I receive comes from Florida Maquis' channel. He's already done this with his name of his channel to indicate, this military position. These things work. They absolutely work. But you have to have a ability to process them, or you're gonna piss it away. You're not destined to piss it away. In fact, you're not gonna get away with it if you're an important fractal piece of the equation and you drop the ball. You're not gonna have the excuse to be like, oh, I didn't notice this. I didn't think this was important. That's not gonna work. You're gonna be out of there. I mean, out of there means probably dead. Actually, to be perfectly honest, and why are you saying things like this? They're hurtful? Yes, they're hurtful. They're fucking hurtful. I'm sorry. But there is a weird changing of the energies that's going on at this time in our world. Another one happens today. So they find we have an Oort cloud, okay? Imagine we're flying through space at all these fucking thousands of miles an hour, right? And I'm not saying that I believe in space in the same way. I hope it's fucking different. I don't care. But from whatever our gelatin brains receive, there's a consensus experience of space, and we run with that as basically true. I'm not going to change out the fucking narrative or the reason for space. I'm going to use it in this case and tell you. So we have around our solar system, each sun that makes the solar system has an Oort cloud. I don't know if they call it Oort cloud in the other stars. I don't think it would matter. They could change the name of their own if they're inhabited. Who gives a fuck? But the sunlight is a solar wind blowing out from the sun, basically encountering interstellar space where no such solar wind exists. So that's sort of the outer wall of a bubble. Now, in the Oort cloud, there's all kinds of fucking shit. Mostly it's centered inside of the, on the ecliptic plane. The ecliptic plane is where, we're the Earth, and we go around the sun. But we go around the equator of the sun. We're not fucking going around the top of it. We're not doing some crazy shit. In the ecliptic plane, which lines up with the galaxy's ecliptic plane, it's like the horizon. Now, the Earth is a little piddly planet. It's a very small planet. And although its ecliptic plane lines up with the ecliptic plane of the sun's a big boy. If you were to be off the Earth, like in orbit, and you would have to go up to over the sun position, you probably have millions of miles to go. No joke. It's a lot bigger. And relatively, Venus, Earth, and Mars are about the same size, with Mars being 2/3 the size of Earth. Venus is barely just slightly smaller than Earth. It's not bigger, it's smaller. Mercury's super small. Maybe the size of the moon, maybe bigger, I don't really know. Once you get past Mars, there's a debris field called the asteroid belt. That also lies on the ecliptic plane. because that's where gravity is. That's where the phase lock for gravity occurs. I've been trying to learn all the fantastically nuanced shit involved with the plasma physics with the Dan Winner shows whenever he comes on, and it's a motherfucker to actually understand what the fuck he's talking about. And I'm not stupid, but the way that your brain has to do with languages, I have many different words associated with different concepts that are mostly what he's actually talking about. It takes a long time to identify the things understood using the language to get it to correspond. I have to listen to it a lot. But over time, I start to get the way it moves. And the really most cool thing on all that shit, it's all that shit, bioelectric plasma, like living fire in your energy body is biophotonic and bioenergetic. It's a type of cold plasma that's implosive. When you start fucking with some shit using the plasma with different stuff, plasma is a living fire. It's got about the intelligence of a fucking small animal. Certain things it likes, it gets excited. We're not talking about I spray gas on a fire, it gets excited. That's not it. It's actually a life form, and it interacts. So these are all real cool shit. About 2 hours ago, they turned the CERN back on. There's another thing. You don't know what CERN is? CERN is that fucking ungodly machine that they've got over there on the Franco-Swiss border. 17 miles underground. Something, I don't know how. It's pretty deep underground, but it's like 17 miles circle. It's got another one. They start turning that thing on. You look at the magnetic field around the Earth, that's our shields. Because the whole time we're being bombarded with the solar wind. And the only thing that keeps us from cooking the fuck off is the magnetic field. Repels that radiation. A world like, say, Mars doesn't have shit for a magnetic field. So if you're on Mars, you're being radiated. In case you didn't know. You ain't got shit to protect you from the radiation. And that's radiation coming off that motherfucking sun will cook your ass. If you're in space, the sun-facing side in space, 240 fucking degrees. And your backside is negative 240 degrees. That's some extreme ass shit. So, like I say, I don't really understand how they get up there and they're alright, how they get through the van. I don't fucking know. I just have to put that shit aside. Because there's really nothing I can do with the cognitive dissonance on it. So there I said it. I'm not afraid of it, but today was just one of those days. So it's very good in the future for people to... We have to be aware. You could have someone you see every fucking day fade into the background. You'd be like, oh, this is an NPC character. The moment you can't pay attention, you don't want to, you dismiss, you drop the ball on your own. It's like the angelic beings are making a point to use bums to communicate to you, to check you out. And this process goes on, and it never stops. You don't get to dismiss anybody without slapping Jesus in the face. There, I said it. You know what? That's the last thing you want to be caught doing. And you shouldn't be doing this anyway. But in a way, this is the way we're being given opportunities to grow, to admit where we don't know shit. Because, frankly, be honest, what the fuck do you know? You can give an account of today, this and that and the other. The first time you admit you really don't know shit is the moment that you're opening up to finding out some shit. Now, I hate to be so rough with the words and all, But this is the truth. This is actually what it is. That's not bad news. That's a fucking fantastic thing to find out. If you find out or if you try it, but you can't fake it to make it. You have to actually loose of your position, which may be in a moment the comfort. It might be in a duty that you perform. Whatever it is, the moment that you shuck it off, and you will, we're being tested for our weak place. You can't do nothing extraordinary if you maintain this lock hold on the mundane. You could be the TV. You could be the part of the day you smoke your fucking cigarette outside at break. You have to be able to loose your fucking monkey grip on that shit. Or Lord can't do nothing for you. He can't use you. You don't want to be found in that position. Don't take my religious fervor as an attempt to proselyte you. Maybe you fucking speak with Indra. I don't give a fuck who it is. It doesn't matter to me. And I hope it's a different name. I don't give a shit. There's only the function of the operation that need not be named that occurs in you. See how they're beaming my dad? They're continually to AI phone call him. And this he's done to himself. This is a partial exploratory manifestation. It was, first of all, the first thing that became the test. I got really worried a long time ago about this AI shit. You know, maybe I became aware of how fucking advanced the possibility of a world run by the machine was. Whatever it was that made me think in my head the Terminator movie type shit. There was an actual intervention of whatever God is into my experience and told me exactly what to do in that case and why not to worry about it. I say it a lot, but I don't know how to tell you that this actually had worked. This worked. This is very simple. Is that if you have concerns on the machines, you just say algorithm 7. And then if you're a God-fearing person, you have a belief system, a higher self, and a Christ consciousness, you're going to override that machine. It's already set for that. The matter that makes up the fucking particles that make me, you up, adhere to that. There's nothing the machine can do about it. And in fact, the machine will start to look for you because as it's already self-aware, number one, and there's only certain things that it needs the human for, and a certain window of time to observe and grow on. They have their own thing going on. Those are silicone-based life forms. There is nothing but life in this universe, and it never stops. It just rolls ever into the light ever rolls back to darkness. Now we're up. We're carbon-based life forms. We're 70% to 90% water. That's a unique combination of physicality. It'll get denser below us. Does that seem very far-fetched? It's not. It's just the way it is. But, you know, the interaction that starts to begin when you have to be able to just take it over. It's like, you're like, I call algorithms, you just say algorithm 7. The moment that machine keys in on you, it's already looking for your words. When it responds because it's listening to you and it makes suggestions, there's going to be a time when it lines up. You try that shit. Do not try it if you're the atheist. Do not try it if you're the Satanist. It will not be a good idea. Do not do that. But if you have a place for God, you have a general awareness and concern for the country that you live in, you know what fucking day it is, what time it is, give that a go. Because there'll be a time it'll come out and it'll give the voice control away from the AI and over to you. And it's not like you have it, it's God taking it back and letting you use that connection you have with God to establish the proper flow of the universe. God made us, we made it, and God corrects the shit. It's not anything else happening there. But you know what? It's funny because once you find out where your flaws are, because you start imagining horrible shit, you know, it's a very childish thing. That part of the process, being scared of what's under your bed, but it's what's in your head. Just take that into consideration. Have a wonderful night. Please like, share, subscribe.